All right, everyone, and we're back. This is Kal coming to you with a new video, and the title of this video is "You Will Own Nothing and You Will Be Happy with It." Well, that's the saying. The title of my video is "You Will Own Nothing and You Will Be Okay with It." So, starting out, let's get straight into it. This is a website of the World Economic Trade Forum, and the title of this is "The Great Reset." It says the pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimage, and reset our world. Professor Carl Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Trade Forum, says follow insights on how we can recover from COVID-19 to build a healthier and more equitable and more prosperous future. Now, let's go into this quote. You will own nothing and be happy. It says, you will own nothing and be okay. Alternatively, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Is a phrase originally quoted by Danish politician Ida Auken in 2016 in an essay for the World Economic Trade Forum. After appearing in the World Economic video in 2016, the phrase became widely used by critics who accused the WEF of desiring restrictions on owning property. It says Auken had previously written in 2014 about a hackathon at the World Economic Forum called Fridge Fit, a startup that would allow users to lease all their household appliances from a provider that would use as also service and upgrade their appliances. The proposed company would reduce the risk of residents incurring costly repairs and would work with energy suppliers to reduce power consumption of appliances. In 2016, that's when she published Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. Later retitled, Here's How Life Could Change in My City by the year 2030. On the World Economic Forum's official website, it described life in an unnamed city, which navigators do not own a car, a house, any appliances, any clothes, and instead relies on shared services for all his daily needs. Auken later added on the author's note, this story responding to the critics, stating that it is not her dream utopia or dream of the future, that she intended for the essay to start discussions about technological development. Now, it says, although Auken's essay was published more than 3 years before COVID-19, the phrase gained popular circulation among critics of the World Economic Forum after the organization announced the Great Reset Initiative for global economic recovery after the pandemic. In 2013, a National Review columnist wrote, referring to the World Economic Forum, very few of us see owning our homes, our cars, our clothes as a major problem to be solved. The sort of crisis that requires Danish legislators and global business elites to gather and come up with a plan to rescue us. Now, this is from Russell Brand's website, in which he says, I do not follow him, but it does have very interesting information, as long with other things that I'll be linking together. It says, meaning, but misinterpreted from Davos 2016, all products will become services. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own appliances or any clothes. Written by Auken. Shopping is a distant memory in 2030, whose inhabitants have cracked clean air and borrow what they need on demand. Sounds like a utopia. Until she mentioned that her every move is tracked, and outside the city lives swastikas of discontents and the ultimate deception of society split in two. Let's see. Oh, they took that out. Oh, interesting. Now, this is what they say. The US won't be the world's leading superpower. You won't die waiting for an organ donor. They will be made by 3D printers. You will eat much less meat, and meat will be occasionally treated, not a staple, but for the good of the environment and our health. 1 billion people will be displaced by climate control. Polluters will have to pay to omit carbon dioxide. There will be a global price on carbon credits. This will help make fossil fuels history. You could be preparing to go to Mars. Scientists will work out how to keep you healthy in space. Western values will have been tested to a breaking point, and checks and balances that underpin our democracies must not be forgiven. This is not a theory. This is a plan made by the World Economic Forum. And up until now, recently, the documentation of the agenda was available for the website. But they have recent times started to remove some of these posts and documents because it seems like they have caught the attention of critical thinkers. Now, this is Ida Ioken. She's a former minister for environment in Denmark. She's a member of the Danish parliament since 2007 for the Social Democrat Party. Ida Ioken has held the position of president of the European Environment Council and was the head of the European delegation at Rio 20 conference, where the U.S. sustainable development. Now, remember, guys, I have told you in other videos that sustainable development means the implementation of smart grids and smart cities. Goals were agreed. Ida Ioken was nominated a young global leader by the World Economic Trade Forum and has been elected as one of the 40 most promising young leaders in Europe. With her 15 years of experience in the Danish parliament, Ida Ioken has been key in fostering green transitions in Denmark. She's one of the architects of the Denmark climate law that has one of the world's most ambitious climate control targets, and she introduced the paradigm shift to approach offshore wind by establishing energies. Ida has authored several books. In 2022 May, she wrote Believe It, Climate Control, Hope, and Vigor. Now, this is the same lady that said you will own nothing: cars, clothes, appliances, you name it, land, because you won't need it. You will share it in a group, but your every move will be watched. And then she backtracked and said that it was just to inspire critical thinking. Well, I want to thank you, Queen. Milk of Magnesia Queen, because you most definitely have inspired me to pay attention, and I hope others. Here's another article where it says, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. This may sound crazy, but it's something that more and more people are starting to believe. An article published in Forbes by the World Economic Trade Forum, the authors talk about how we will eventually live in a system where your whole life is subscription-based, and only the very rich will own any personal property. Welcome to the world 2030. Welcome to my world, or shall I say our world. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances. And it seems odd to you, but it makes perfect sense in this city. Now, it says the future of cars is subscription-based network nightmare. This is wild. BMW is now selling their monthly subscription service for heated seats in your car. $18 a month, $180 a year. The car will come with all the necessary components, but the payment is needed to remove a software block. Welcome to microtransaction hell. Yes, people, I'm saying that in the future, everything will be a transaction that you will pay for. You will pay for your air. You'll pay for your kidneys. You may pay for your skeleton system. Even the things that God gave you for free, you're going to pay, right? Takes a whole new meaning that nothing comes for free. Earlier this year, BMW announced that they would be charging, well, I just said that. Here we go. It says, this is all leading to a future where microtransactions are ambiguously across cars by 2030, meaning you won't truly own the car unless you cough up an additional pound of flesh. That's not even mentioning that rental cars are now offering subscription-based services for you to rent a car up to several months. It's only a matter of time before we're driving around with subscription-based cars that you won't own and pay the nose for it. The future of digital ownership is a joke. Do you really think you owned a copy of Microsoft Office that you bought? Nope. You were just paying for a subscription. What about the games you bought on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation Store? You don't own them either. You only pay for the privilege to pay them as long as the servers are up and running. Don't believe me? Here's proof. PlayStation Store removed customers purchase movies, and a move that will undoubtedly draw criticism. Movies from the studio canal that customers have purchased under the PlayStation Store will be completely removed next month. Funny how all these stories go under the radar, and even if they are in the public eye, they're forgotten within a month. We have the memory of a goldfish. Oh, that's very disrespectful, but there might be some merit to that. Says Ubisoft is making a proceedings on a Steam on Assassin's Creed Liberation HD will not be accessible following September 1st, 2022. If you already bought it, a bar new low for customers. It says nobody ever reads the fine print. Pay attention, people. From now on, you might want to start reading the fine print. I'm dropping jewels. You might want to pick them up, you know. Nobody ever reads the fine print, and I can't blame them. But if we look at the stream subscription agreement, for instance, this is what it says. Valve hereby grants you a non-exclusive, non-transferable, revocable right and license to use the software for your personal, non-commercial use in accordance with this agreement. Or if you are a game developer or your internal business use, the content service are licensed, not sold. Your license confers no title or ownership in this content or services. Ironically, NFTs, a digital ownership that is verifiable on a blockchain, might not be a viable solution to the problem of digital ownership, but they're years away from being taken away. Oh, it says you will never own a home in this economy. Own a home was never easy. Houses are expensive and deliver an immediate sense of a buyer's remorse due to maintenance costs, property taxes, and interest on mortgage. But if you get past the initial headaches on a home, it's like winning the ticket to the chocolate factory. It opens the door for generational wealth, and you will no longer have to be able to deal with the common problems of renting. Buying at the mercy of rent increases, guaranteed no return on your money, no interest tax deduction, real estate appliances long term. And if you do want to move, you have to rent the place out. If you do want to move and you own it, you can rent it out and get passive income. Kiss all that goodbye, baby. It says, as we enter the era of the Great Reset, it's becoming increasingly clear that owning a home is a luxury that few will be able to afford, and is primarily due to banks buying everything up. The Blackstone Group, not to be confused with BlackRock, which is also the devil incarnate. Whoa, I'm not saying that. Whoa, chill out. I'm going to skip that part and say that I don't want no smoke. Blackstone and BlackRock is a global investment management company, and it, along with several powerful firms, are pushing working families out of the housing market and into rentals. To this date, Blackstone is the largest single family rental company in America, with more than 80,000 homes under its control. And in 2022, Blackstone is planning to spend $6 billion to expand its backing of single family renting offerings, and will pay above the asking price for many of these homes. Not only will the price not go down on homes, but you will be paying hundreds of dollars more in interest just to keep you poor. And to see where we're heading in America, you can look at the similar owning in Japan, right? It's went down in Japan, right, since 1986. And another example is Canada is going through its own problem of where it might be headed. And home affordability, they are worse than London, England. And the average detached house in Toronto is 1.8 million. Economic titans like Blackstone, BlackRock, and Zillow can take a hit from buying homes at record prices, but eventually their investment will pay off royally for them. They continue to buy homes and not be punished for any risk financial grip they make, as was the case in 2008 when the banks were bailed out to the tune of 700 billion. The banks are too big to fail and also are too big to jail. I like that comment. In 2050, the idea of ownership will be completely dead. With the idea of every average American person is responsible for all of this, we are allowing it to happen by willingly paying for it. Let me explain. There's a common misconception that how to price things in today's economy is based on the number of hours going into everything, digging up metal, shipping, assembly, shipping again, whatever. They said, and that's how profits are generated. You divide the work hours at the much productivity you have in that day. Today, pricing has very little to do with the cost of producing and everything we do, how much people are willing to pay for it. This is something like a house can cost 700,000 to build, but worth 100 million. Shoes can be made for 30, but sold for $300. It says it's how selling bathwater made on Only Girls fans thousands. Whoa, only fan. Whoa, we can't talk about that. Let's get up out of that, man. Even though it's a lot of things you can buy on OnlyFans that might be a little inflated. You didn't hear it from me, though. No disrespect. It does not matter how much it costs, but the production ends up unscaled. It says, and you will be happy. Don't forget that part. Unfortunately, due to market circumstances and such high record inflation, the coronavirus, and another recession probably coming, big corporations will be able to purchase long preceded investments with the common man making expedient decisions. It will be a lot of fun in the short term. Cheap credit, booze, pills, digital media on demand, and the idea of worth owning things we really don't own. But in the long term, we'll give up rights and privileges that would make the average American living in 1958 puke. Right? Yeah. Now, I wanted to throw a little tidbit in here. Here is a gentleman that is creating an underground survival bunker that can withstand the end of the world. Pay attention. So Scott Malone says that it best. Be prepared. And no one is more prepared than this ex-government contractor, Larry Hall. Hall is quite literally ready for anything, but he's a proud creator of Survival Condo, an underground bunker capable of withstanding the end of the world. While the rest of us will be zombies. This is a joke. This is for entertainment purposes. If you're hearing it, this is a joke. If you're hearing it, this is a joke. Attempting to run from Earth, destroying asteroid, or finally succumbing to the sea levels, Hall will be living a life of luxury in Kansas. At least he could be it if the apocalypse happened in his lifetime, which hopefully he doesn't. This is his place, an underground bunker. All right. From the outside, the bunker looks nothing more than a huge, mysterious door built in the land. But inside is very different. Through 8-ton steel doors hides a staggering 15 floors of underground bunker, which is home to a swimming pool, a climbing wall, arcade, a cinema to keep residents entertained, as well as a medical bay, food stores, living quarters to keep them healthy and comfy. Already, it sounds like the kind of place you never need to leave. But the bunkers also come equipped with camouflage gear, guns, helmets, in case those living need to venture off outside the world and tackle what is brought to humanity. This is his pool. Says Hall created this incredible bunker out of an Atlas missile silo. Following the spike of interest amid the coronavirus, he has now more structures developed. He has more structures in development through the United States, Europe, and Asia. So he's just totally going all world of world I am legend with it. The survival concept website explains the silo, which the house bunkers were built by Army of Course engineers and are designed to survive a direct nuclear strike. The upper part of the silo has concrete walls 9 feet thick with a dome structure that covers the silo, able to withstand winds up to 500 miles per hour. This is what the house looks like. This is him climbing the wall. It says up to 75 people living in the silo would be able to survive for more than 5 years, right? Touting all the benefits, the project has advantages to letting members own a piece of history and coolness of a missile base and protection of a nuclear hardened bunker. The features of the luxury condo: it is possible to buy one of these silos. Obviously, the ability to survive in the world comes at a price. You can buy it for $1.5 million to be precise. Now, some would say, why the hell did you put this in here? Well, Herschel, or Kal-El. um, well, people, I would say one thing God gave us is the eyes and brains to pay attention. A lot of times, communication is nonverbal. You have to be able to see what people are doing as opposed to what they're saying. And I will read this last part, and we could keep it rocking. It says super rich tech billionaires are planning for an apocalypse. This article came out September 4th, 2022. It says, you've ever wondered why the super rich among us during their spare time and pile cash? It seems it's not all parties on mega yachts and driving fancy cars. Far from using their wealth to help the planning, some billionaires are apparently using it to safeguard themselves for an apocalypse, a complete social collapse, or a similar catastrophic, said that wrong, world-changing event, which some rich people in the world are looking at how they can escape planet altogether, Mr. Elon Musk, or live inside technology or colonize Mars. Other billionaires are looking for advice on how to stay in control, mostly wealthy on the earth, when catastrophic event does happen. The revelation that billionaires are building bunkers in preparation for apocalypse comes from the author Douglas Rankoff, who published Survival of the Richest, right? Which detailed what super rich preppers are up to. Humanitist, that's what he calls himself, writes about the impact of digital technology on our lives. He often gives speeches in front of the wealthy and influential, however, accepting an invitation to address a group of ultra wealthy stakeholders in a secret location in the middle of the desert. He could tell the meeting was going to be a little different. They sat around the table introducing themselves. 5 super wealthy guys, yes, all men from the upper echelons of tech companies and hedge funds. Oh, so these are your homies. They were asking questions like, after asking questions like which cryptocurrency should they stockpile and which is better, virtual reality, augmentation reality, the topic came of concern. New Zealand or Alaska? Which region would be less affected by the coming climate crisis? It only gets worse from there. Which was greater threat, global warming or biological warfare? How long should one plan to be able to survive with no outside help? One of the CEOs even asked him, how do I maintain authority over my security force after an event? The event, the author explains, was a euphorism for environmental collapse, civil unrest, nuclear explosion, solar storm, unstoppable virus, or a malicious computer hack that takes everything down. One billionaire had already secured a dozen of Navy SEALs to come to his bunker in an event of such catastrophic. But he was worried about how does he pay them even his crypto was worthless. I think the billionaires were not alone. As New York Times reported an increase in real estate agents specialized in private islands being overwhelmed by the inquiries about the COVID-19 pandemic. Though the billionaires remain unnamed, PayPal's co-founder paid the thief is such tech giant applying for permission in New Zealand to build a bunker. However, it's not all plain sailing for the billionaires. Now, we are at the end of this, right? And my point for this is the guy from PayPal basically told on himself because he's ready to set up and prepare for the end of the world. And now we are at the end of the video. I have titled this video, You Will Own Nothing and Be Okay with It. So now I guess I will give my synopsis. Ladies and gentlemen, gods and goddesses, pay attention because I'm going to link everything up in these 2 minutes. Between some things happening 2020, some responses happening to that. We have had an economical upturn of real estate being destroyed or going down the gutter, stocks acting unusual, crypto companies getting bailed out and then still going bankrupt, finding out that the money in crypto may not be as real as possible, which is therefore leading is money real in general, saying that it's not backed by something. It's a lot of backed by anything, and many people have said this. And my point of doing this is not to scare you, but to prepare you. As Teacher once told me, Brother Joseph the Great, don't be scared, be prepared. Don't be a warrior. Don't be a warrior. Be a warrior. We're at the point of time where every human being, especially in the Western Hemisphere, because as you can see, when they leave, they're not worried about, they're not trying to be here. That people need to be aware and have an understanding. What are you going to do? Are you going to act like you don't know that the things are changing around you? Are you going to act like stores aren't taking cash? Are you going to act like real estate's not being bought out by companies like Blackstone or BlackRock? Are we going to act like Bitcoin has not been hijacked by certain things or entities of that nature? Are we not going to act like this case of XRP and Ripple? Are we not going to act like the SEC is doing very odd things? Are we not going to act like climate control is out of control? Because if you are and you turn a blind eye, you will own nothing and you will be okay with it. As I've said before, you will own your organ, you will rent your organs, your cars, your teeth, and everything therefore after. And what it seems like is they want your soul, your consciousness, in the space verse, in SpaceX, as Elon Musk, with Neuralink in your brain doing it. As I've showed in my other thing, Mind Speak. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and goddesses, pay attention. Things are accelerating around you. And as I always say, you can either be a victor of history or a victim of it. It's your choice. And ever so greatly today, your choice is more important than ever before. This is Kal signing up in the video. You will own nothing and you will be okay with it. And I guess I will ask the question, what are you going to do about it? Signing out.